coil-coated metal. It can be pre-cleaned, pre-treated, pre-primed, and pre-painted to save you time, cost, and hassles. Plus, and this might be surprising, you can form your parts after the metal is pre-painted. In fact, the paint layer is often more flexible than the underlying metal substrate. Go ahead, bend it, form it, draw it. Pre-painted metal can take it beautifully. Pre-painted metal can be adapted to fit most product designs that currently use bare flat sheet or coil stock with only slight modifications. It all starts by working closely with your NCCA representative to select the pre-paint system most compatible to your process. The three most important factors to keep in mind are flexibility, mar resistance, and the dimensional fit with the production equipment. Flexibility is determined by the combination of substrate and applied coating system. If necessary, you can specify a more flexible system, but that may affect cost and performance, so be careful not to over-specify the requirements. Marring of the finished surface during forming usually comes from rough dies that gouge and scratch, insufficient tooling clearance, or bad alignment. Pre-painted metals can be engineered to address these forming issues. Paint can be chemically engineered to act as a solid lubricant during the fabrication and formation process. Some coating systems even contain internal lubricants to reduce friction. External lubricants applied to the coil-coated metal, either by pre-paint supplier or in-plant while forming, are another possible solution. Both wet and dry lubricants have their pluses and minuses. Wet lubes, generally oils, waxes, or soaps, can be added to the paint film to help with friction, but they can collect dirt and usually need to be removed before assembly. Dry lubes, usually thin, dried-in-place films, can help with friction too, and often come off easily with soap and water, or can sometimes even be left on the formed part. Your pre-painted metal supplier can also apply a removable film that prevents actual contact between the finished surface and the forming and handling equipment. These are available as a roll or liquid coatings applied as a paint film and then baked. All improve lubrication and enhance forming. The final specification relevant to forming and fabrication involves making sure your pre-painted product matches the dimensions of your existing or proposed production equipment. Dimensions for coils include width, thickness, weight, orientation, and inner and outer diameters. For sheets, you should measure length, width, thickness, and the number of sheets. In both cases, you need to keep in mind that the coating can add up to 10% to thickness. Next, you need to consider the requirements of your current or proposed production process. To avoid excessive deformation of the pre-paint base, which can destroy the adhesion of the coating, NCCA recommends multi-stage forming when producing rigorous bends. Warm forming at 125 to 160 degrees can help in cases of severe fabricating. Consult your equipment supplier for expert guidance. Pre-painted metal can usually be formed in the same tooling and presses you currently use for bare stock, but there are ways to maximize your investment and minimize waste and damage. Too much clearance can lead to a heavy burr, scratching the pre-painted surface. It is essential to specify clearances and tolerances correctly, especially since the actual thickness with the coating will be greater than the bare substrate. Padding can add extra protection where the painted surface could be damaged by handling equipment or the machinery itself. Consider using padding or bonding strips of rubber to the faces of shears, press brakes, punch brakes, carry tables, and bench tops. Regarding die materials and finish, tool constructions vary with the end-use requirements of a fabricated part. The life requirements, the type of thickness of the metal to be formed, and the design of the tool. In most cases, existing dies used with bare stock should work. If you're purchasing new dies, surface-hardened treatments work best. Plastic die faces are also effective with pre-painted material because they are less likely to mar the surface. No matter what type of coil feeding system you use, keep the following factors in mind. Stack blanks with vertical movement to prevent burrs from damaging the paint surface. Place protective sheets of cardboard or polyurethane between them for added protection. For large panels over 70 inches, use an automatic transfer device and stack them horizontally with interleaving material between. Medium panels should be stacked on edge in special padded containers using rubber tie-downs to secure the stacks. Small parts should be nested in small baskets, using soft padding to prevent damage from rubbing or vibration. For palletized coils, use an upender to change orientation from eye to the sky to horizontal. And whenever you are moving, lifting, or feeding coils, be sure to use padded ramps, saddles, and lifting devices to protect the paint surface. If you use washers, be sure the solution doesn't drip onto the pre-painted surface. Take a look at your overall fabrication layout with an eye to protecting your pre-painted material in the following ways. Minimize the number of times parts are handled. Reduce opportunities for surface impact. Shorten the distance that fabricated parts are moved. Protect forming equipment from environmental dirt. Maintain temperature where materials are stored and where they are formed. Have you formed a new opinion about forming pre-paint? Follow these guidelines and you can save time, costs, and hassles. Brought to you by the National Coil Coating Association. For more information, contact NCCA or click here to download the presentation as a PDF. Brought to you by the National Coil Coating Association.